After more than a year and a half of a fat loss and fitness journey, probably the biggest myth I've run across is that there's optimal ways to pull this off. It's completely tone deaf to the core of the problem, because the people who are preaching all these solutions don't know what your problem is. All they know is that you weigh a lot more than what you want to weigh, and they usually know at least one solid way to cause fat loss to occur. But this is where the Dunning-Kruger effect really kicks in hard for a lot of people. How you gained fat is basically the route you have to take to lose fat and keep it off. And the really frustrating thing, especially for those of us who have, for the sake of not getting shadow banned, issues with eating, is that some of us know how we got fat in the first place, but we feel really powerless to do anything about it. Like, it's so easy to reduce calories. There's so many different ways to do it. But how are you going to make it stick? People will swear up and down, oh, up your protein. Oh, increase your exercise. Oh, eat a bunch of high volume food. None of those are necessarily invalid. But once you lose all that weight, what are you going to do to keep it off? You want to do volume eating? There's consequences to that. An enlarged stomach will not do you any favors unless you stick with volume eating. Eating a bunch of protein sounds awesome if you have an unlimited bank account. Fiber is fantastic, but palatable fiber, that's a bit more challenging and usually a bit more pricey. Exercise is great, especially walking. But are you okay with walking 1 to 2 hours a day for the rest of your life? To keep the fat off, and sometimes just to lose it, everyone's going to have to do it their way. And that's what really sucks for a lot of fat loss programs, because they usually just give you a cookie cutter system. They'll give you some very solid foundations to work from. But if you don't spend the time to think things through, and those solutions don't work for you, you're going to feel like a failure. And you'll probably give up. And you'll probably go through this cycle a bunch of times. I sure did. It wasn't even yearly for me. It was sometimes multiple times a year. There's been some years where I've gained and then lost probably a total of like 60 to 80 pounds multiple years in a row. Because like I said, losing fat is not hard. You use more calories than you eat. What do you do when you get in a new relationship and you're helping raise a kid and you have no free time? What do you do when you lose your job and you no longer have access to all these awesome fat loss snacks and high protein meals? What do you do when you blow a knee out and your calorie deficit mostly came from walking? What do you do when you totally dedicated yourself to the gym and then all of a sudden you've ripped a ligament in your elbow? Like, these aren't even hypotheticals. These are things I've personally gone through, and just a few of them.